Alright, my Hebrew Israelite, come out here in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right? Like to start off by saying double honors to the elders of GMS, honors to you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Alright, gonna touch on a few topics and just take you wherever the spirit takes it. And I was gonna go into this little lesson here yesterday, speaking on the elect, because like these different dudes out here will have you feel like, or have you believe that these, we're being forced to be, or we're forced to be here. Nobody's forcing anyone to be here, right? Come out here through the spirit of the Most High. Now the Most High put the spirit for us to come out here, man. Right? That's why the scripture has it to where the Most High has explicitly told you that man's is, you're gonna be an elect, right? Right, and that elect is gonna have a particular spirit about it. Right? And that particular spirit pertains to them coming out here, pushing this truth in season, out of season. Like you see out here, it's a bit, it's a bit wet out there, right? Baloo, right, the 14th Street Israelite he hasn't got that spirit because he's not of the elect. Right? You can clearly see that. You can clearly see he's not a spiritual man. You can clearly see that he hasn't got this spirit of endurance. Of which I pray I got that spirit of endurance first and foremost. But that's another aspect of the men of the Lord, right? That they don't let you know about the humility that you see amongst the elders of GMS, right? But the basis of the lesson is that ain't nobody forcing anybody to be out, right? But then touching on that, we might get into other topics out here. There's people out here, certain dudes might have to get cursed out a little bit, but that's all going through the scriptures, man. All right, now let's start off in Romans, the 11th chapter and the 7th verse. Now this is going to be Romans the 11th chapter, right? And I'm going to start off at the 7th. I'm going to start off at the 6th. It's going to be Romans 11 and 6. It says, "And if it be by grace that it is no more of works, otherwise grace is no more grace," right? So we come out here, right? We're pushing this truth, right? Telling these people that they precious, England, their precious America is going to be destroyed. It's going to be burnt up, right? By way of those nuclear fire coming from them Russians, right? That's the spirit of the Lord. That's the Most High has the grace that He's imparted on them, spirit on His elect to come out here and tell these people that, right? Like it says in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Then shall the righteous man stand before such as afflicted him. That's what we do, man. Telling these people that have afflicted us for such a long time, right, by way of their captivity, right? They're gonna be destroyed, right? It says, "If it be by grace, then it is no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise, works is no more work. What then? Israel hath not obtained." Who are the Israelites? The Negroes, the Hispanics, the Native Americans, right? And the Spanish-speaking tribes, man. Those are the Negroes. Those are the true Israelites, man. The Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? Those are the people that the Most High is going to come to save. He's not coming to save everyone, unfortunately. Right? And really, he's not coming to save everyone because he's not dealing with everyone. It tells you in Psalms, the 147th chapter and the 19th verse, right? He showeth his word unto Jacob. Who's Jacob? Like I just mentioned, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? He showeth his word unto Jacob, right? His statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgments, they have not known it, man. So these different people haven't known the judgment of the Most High, man. Right? In fact, it goes on to further say, I believe it is in Psalms, it speaks about, do ye indeed speak in righteousness or congregation, pertaining to the fact that these dudes have taken the scriptures, right? And they act like they got the scriptures, so they're going to be judged by the way of the scriptures, man. Right? Like it says also in Deuteronomy, right? The Most High is going to reverse the curses that He's put upon us, right? And He's going to implement them on these different nations, man. Right, so when you see Jake on the bottom, you're gonna see these different nations on the bottom in our own society, man. Right? It's actually a beautiful thing when we get into our own society, man. Right? And then getting back into the scriptures, it says, "What then? Israel hath not obtained that which is seeking." Right? But the election hath obtained it. So what does Israel seek for? Right? They seek for the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures. Right? They seek that they pursue the Most High. They pursue that salvation, man. Right? And how do they pursue that salvation? By way of these different philosophies. And that's why the scripture says there, right? They have not obtained that which they seek for. They haven't obtained, they're not going to obtain the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures, or really of the Most High, which is what which is what spirit is led onto. But that's why people are attracted by the devil. That's why their whole spirit is about this death and destruction, man. Right, like it says in Malachi, they're known as the border of the wicked, man. Wherever they go, right, they bring wickedness wherever they go, man. Right. It says, but then Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Right, so the rest of these people, the rest of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans are blinded from the truth. Right, that's why the men in the look come out here all the time, and it is all, like the scripture says. You right there, sir? Do you believe in the scriptures? Huh? All right, man. All right. It says, what then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, right, and the rest were blinded. Right? So the rest of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans are blinded from the truth, blinded from the fact that they're going to be the ones, the royal heirs to the kingdom that the Most High is going to set up after he destroys this one. Right? The Most High has blinded them. It's the Most High that's done it. Right? He's blinded to the fact that they're true people of the Most High, man. Right? It says, according as it is written, the Most High has given them a spirit of slumber, so they're falling asleep. Right? They got that spirit of sleep on them, man. That spirit of slumber upon them, man. That lazy spirit, man. All right, that's why certain cats don't even coming out in the winter and that, man. All right, it says, according as it is written, the Most High has given them a spirit of slumber, right? Eyes that they should not see, so they got eyes, but they ain't seeing nothing, right? Especially that spiritual eye, your pineal gland, they ain't seeing nothing with that, right? Because it's all calcified, man. They've been sitting down and up on their asses, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, not exercising their spiritual side, man. Right? That's why dudes are so carnal, man. Right? It says, according as it is written, the Most High has given them a spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, ears that they should not hear unto this day. Right? It says, as it is, and David saith, and this is a curse David put upon certain men, right? And David saith, let their tables be made a snare. So what's a snare? A snare is a trap, man. Right? You set a trap for animal, right? It's a snare, man. Right? Let their table become a snare. And what's your table? That's your place of study. That's where you get your scriptural understanding. You put your books down, right, on your table, right, and you start eating, man. You start eating like he said, like Ezekiel, like the Most High said to Ezekiel, man. Right? Eat this roll, man. Right? Because he was at that spiritual table. He was about to eat the full understanding of these scriptures, man. Right? That's what it says there, that their tables be made a snare, that it become a trap onto them. It's gonna be so these scriptures are really a stumbling block onto you that are not the elect, man. That's why we ain't too fussed about certain cats not getting this truth, man. Alright, and going off on your wayward philosophies. Because the scripture said you was gonna go off on your wayward philosophies, man. Scripture said you was gonna go up. Right? It says, according as it is written, the Most High said, where am I? On the 9th verse, right? It says, and David said, let their tables be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block, right? Name's a stumbling block, right? He's a stumbling block unto those certain men, right? And that's by way of the Most High. The Most High set that up, right? It says, and David said, let their tables be made a snare and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. Right? Let their eyes be darkened. So let their eyes be darkened, right? So that they can go to see this truth. Right? That they may not see and bow down their back away. Right, let me go to other scripture. Right, it's going to be Matthew the 13th chapter and the 9th verse.
That's that bloke where this part is.
Right, this is Matthew the 13th chapter and the 9th verse. It says, who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Right? Now everyone's got ears. Right? What's that pertaining to? That's pertaining to the spiritual ear and spiritual eyes, man. Whether you can whether you can see this truth, right? Because the Most High has opened out your eyes and your ears, right? It says, "Who hath the ear, let him hear." right? And his disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? So they came unto him and said, why are you speaking to them in riddles, man? Why are you riddling with these people? Right? It says, right? And he answered and he said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of heaven, but unto them it is not given. So unto the people, unto the vast majority of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, which are the real Israelites, right? You know, they don't have that spiritual ear. They don't have that spiritual inkling to know this truth, right? They haven't got ears to hear and eyes to ears to hear and eyes to see, right? It says, he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of heaven, but unto them it's not given. So unto these people it's not given, right? But let me see if this is relevant. Ah, yeah. This is going to be the Matthew the 13th chapter, the 24th verse. I didn't plan for this one, but it's a good one. All right, it says, and another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man who sowed a good seed in the field. All right, what's the good seed? Wait, no, is that good one? No, that's not it. That's not it. That's talking about Jacob the Esau. Is that this one I'm looking for? Alright, so this is going to be Isaiah the 6th chapter and the 9th verse. Alright, this is Isaiah 6 and 9. It says, and he said, go tell this people, hear ye indeed, right? So the children of Israel, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, they hear indeed says, it says, go tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. So they see and they hear this truth, but they don't understand or perceive, right? It says, make the heart of this people fat, right? Make their ears heavy, right? Shut up their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, right? So this is the curse that befell the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? It says, make the eyes of these people fat, right? Make their ears heavy, and shut up their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, right? And hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed, right? So the Most High said, we don't want that happening, man. Let them be all, let them fall asleep, man. Right? So when the vast majority of the Negroes, vast majority, when that elect is waking up like we're waking up right now, right? The vast majority was going to be asleep, man, because they got a curse on them, man. Right? It says, then said I, Lord, how long? Right? And he answered me and said, until the cities be laid waste. So you dudes are going to be sleeping until the cities be laid waste. Right, man? You believe in the Bible?
Really?
You don't believe in the Bible? All right. No surprise there. Right, it says, make the heart of this people fat and make their ears heavy, right? And shut up their ears, right? So rather more, shut up their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their eyes, right? Right, hear with their ears rather more, and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. It says, then said I, how long? He said, until the cities be laid waste, right? So he was going to shut up their ears and their eyes right up until the point where the destruction comes, right? In which the destruction is imminent, man. You see the tension rising with all the civil unrest rising in these different countries, man, right? And the Lord said pretty much he was going to come back on the scene, right? At the point when you was going to have all kind of when you're going to have all kind of turmoil happening throughout the four corners of the earth, man. Right? Pretty much. In fact, let me jump to that. It's going to be in Mark. start from the top. This is going to be Matthew the 24th chapter and the first verse. And it says, and Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. Right, it says, and Yahushua said unto them, see ye all these things. So he basically took them out and showed them the building. Says, look at all of this, right? Right, it says, see ye all these things. Verily I say unto you, they shall not be left one stone upon another. So he's basically saying, right, all of these buildings, all of these glorious, all of this glorious kingdom that Esau done built, man, right? It's not going to be left one stone upon another. What does that mean to say when the Russians, right, get to going on, man? Right, they're gonna do so much destruction. There ain't gonna be nothing left upon it. You're gonna be not one stone left upon another, man. Right, it says, and there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down, man. All right, it says, and that's indicative of Amos the 9th chapter and the 8th verse, where it talks about behold the eyes of the Lord power upon the sinful kingdom, which this is a sinful kingdom, man. They advocate all wickedness, man. Right? That's how you know these are the children of the devil, man. Right? Because they advocate wickedness. When the scripture says when the righteous are in rulership, right, the people rejoice, man. Right? And when the wicked are in power, man, right, the people mourn. And why they mourning? Because all kind of wickedness is happening, man. And by all wickedness, why is the wages of sin? Right? Wages of sin is death, man. And what do people do when people die, man? They mourn. That's why the scripture says, when the wicked are in rulership, the people mourn, man. Right? That's how you know, yeah, right? But speaking on Amos the 8th chapter, it says, behold, the eyes of the Lord power upon the sinful kingdom, and he's going to destroy it from off the face of the earth, man. Right? It says, they shall not be left one stone, they shall not be left here one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives, Mount Olives, and his disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, right, when shall these things be? So they were saying, they were hastening the day, man. They said to it, they came up to him and said, when is the destruction going to come, man? So we don't have to sit underneath this mat, right? So we don't have to be, we don't have to be, so Esau, can be taken out of power, man. Because they had the spiritual understanding, man. They knew once Esau was taken down, right, it was going to be put into their own power, man. They put into their own estate, man. Right? Like it says in Daniel the 2nd chapter on the 44th verse, and it shall come to pass, the Most High is going to set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, man. That's that kingdom. That's you might as well call that a society, man. That's Jake's thing, man. That's going to be our thing, man. Right, we're gonna be set up in our own estate, man. Our own buildings and kingdom, pretty much our own kingdom, man. It ain't gonna be left to other people, man. Right, we ain't gonna leave it to Tom, Dick, and Harry, man. Right? It says, tell us when shall these things be? So they was hastening in the day, right? And what shall be the sign of thy coming? So what's gonna be the sign of you coming back to the earth? All right? It says, and what shall be the sign of you coming in the end of the world, right? So what's going to be the end of the world? Now that also reminds me of second Ezra, the 6th chapter and the 9th verse, where it talks about Esau being the end of the world and Jacob being the beginning of it that follow it, right? So by process of elimination, who's going to be the end of this world? Esau, and the people of this power are going to be Edomites, man. This is the end of the times, man. Right? Everybody knows that. Right, and Jacob, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, they're gonna be the ones that the fulfillment of it that follow it, man, pursuant to 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, the 9th verse. Right, and it says, Yahushua answered, said unto him, it says, take heed that no man deceive you, right? Take heed that Nate don't deceive you, right? With all of his, because he doesn't really worship the Most High, man. He worships himself, man. You see that as a vain man, vain carnal, right? Take heed lest no man deceive you, right? For many great miseries, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many, right? It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and that's the times that we're in right now, man. We're hearing of rumors of wars, man, right? Right, in all of these different countries, right? It says, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many, and shall hear of rumors of wars, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, right? So all of these rumors of wars and all of that, man, it ain't quite the time yet, and we know it's not quite the time yet because that martial law has not been fully implemented, like it talks about in Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, right? Not only is the martial law not fully implemented, the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip, that hasn't been fully implemented there, right? It says, and for nations shall rise up against nations. So you don't see these different nations coming up to rise up against each other. That's one of those things that these what you call it, these different camps don't talk about, man. They don't talk about these different they don't talk about the missiles, the chip, right? Because they really want this society to carry on going, man. Right? But they, like the brothers there, they knew what was going on, man. Right? They wanted this society to be destroyed, man. Right? It says, for nations shall rise up against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in different places. So you're gonna get famines and earthquakes in different places, man. Right? All kind of misery is gonna be happening, man. Right? All kind of bad things is gonna be happening, man. Right? It says, and all these are the beginnings of sorrow, right? And then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, right? And shall kill you, right? And you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake, right? So they're actually gonna deliver the men of the Lord unto to be killed, man. So you got the guillotine. They're gonna be made public examples, man. You dudes ain't ready for that, man. Right? You IUIC, that's not the spirit you're in, man. You're in the spirit of lollygagging, man. All right? It says, for my name's sake, right? And there's that point again, that's the name of the Lord, man. So you gotta come out here on behalf, it's not Christ, man. It's Yahweh, man. Come out here with a purpose and to fulfill a purpose for a particular individual, and that individual's got a name, man. Right? It says, and then shall many be offended and shall betray one another. So that's when dudes gonna see that's when we gonna see people's true colors in that day, man. Right? When people's gonna be offended because they're gonna be mass killings, man. Right? People's gonna be killed for the word of this truth, man. Right? That's when we're gonna know if dudes is been sincere. Right? Right? And shall betray one another and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many, right? And because iniquity shall abound and the love of many shall wax cold, right? Now, let me get back to the point. In fact, the 13th verse is pretty nice. That's what it says. But he that shall endure unto the end, right? So you gotta endure, man. This is all about endurance, man. It's all about staying focused, right? Do what you gotta do to make sure this truth comes out, man. But that's the spirit of the Lord, that spirit of endurance, like I've been talking about, man. That's what the spirit of the Most High has put on his elect, right? That's the spirit that the elders have got, right? Nate ain't got that spirit because we know he took some time off, man. Baloo ain't got that spirit because he doesn't even come out certain times of the year, man. If it get too cold, right? That's how you know these dudes is effeminate, because the word effeminate really means without faith, man. Right? If you got faith, you come out here, you do what you gotta do in season and out of season, the scripture prescribes you to do. Right? It says, but he that shall endure, and how are you supposed to endure? How do you endure? How do you enjoy inside your house, man? There ain't nothing to enjoy in your house, man. With the air conditioning on and it's nice and warm, or it's warm when it's cold and it's cold when it's cold when it's hot, man. Right? It says, but he that shall endure unto the end shall be saved, right? And this is the gospel of the kingdom that shall be preached in all of the world, and that's why you got the different camps in different countries, man. Because the Most High prescribed it was a prophecy that is going to be preached out through all the gospel. Now, is that a law? Of course, it's not a law, but it's written in the scripture, so that makes it law, and that's why it's happening, man. Same thing goes for coming out here in season and out of season and being diligent. It's not exactly a law, but you still got to do it. It's something that the Most High prophesied was going to happen, man. And if dudes wasn't doing that, it was going to be destroyed. Right, man? You believe in the scriptures? You believe in the Bible? No? Right, it says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same. Where am I? Right, this is gonna be the 14th verse. Right, and this gospel shall of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Right, so just as this gospel, about to climax, right? and it's about to be spread out throughout the four corners, right? That's when the Most High is going to do the destruction. Right? What's the reason for that? Because once it goes out throughout the four corners, right, the elect's going to be sealed, right, by it reaching the four corners of the earth. But it hasn't quite reached that point yet, right? That's why the scripture says they endure. But speaking of endurance, it's going to be the Revelations, book of Revelations, the 2nd chapter, and the 25th verse. It's Revelations 2 and 25. It says, "But that which ye have already, hold fast until I come. What you have already, right? The knowledge in the Most High and the scriptures, right? The knowledge you get of who is the devil, right? The knowledge of who's going to be saved, right? The Most High said that which ye have already, hold fast until He comes, right? You're gonna hold fast until He says, and he that overcometh what? Overcometh laziness, right? Overcometh things that hinder this truth. More so than that, overcome this society, man. He that overcometh, the temptations of this society, like the scripture says, the love of this world is not the love of the Most High, man. Right? And really, when you go to defining what love is in the scriptures, man, it's the fulfillment of the scriptures, the fulfillment of the law. All right? It says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. So the Most High is going to have it to where men of the Lord, the elect, right? The Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, the elect of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? When the ones that make it through, they're going to be given power over the nations, right? Elam, Edom, right? Ishmael, right? And Japheth, and all of them, man. All of the 17 nations, right? You're going to get power over these nations. What are you going to do with power, man? You see what it says. It says, power over the nations, he shall rule them with a rod of iron, right? And as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I have received of my Father. All right? Now let's go back to Matthew the 24th chapter, and this is right, that's pretty much it really from Matthew the 24th chapter. Now let me get into something else. This is going to be Zechariah the 13th chapter and the 8th verse.
And then...
Right, this is Zechariah 13 and 8. Right, it says, in fact, yeah, this is Zechariah 13 and 8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land 2 parts thereof shall be cut off and die. Alright, so 2 parts of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans will be cut off and die. Hence the 1/3, man. Hence the small remnant. Right, that's gonna be safe. In fact, let me jump to believe it's Amos. Amos the 9th and the 9th talks about a similar type of thing. Right, it's Amos. I'll start from the 8th verse. Right, Amos 9 and 8. It says, behold, the eyes of the Lord power upon the sinful kingdom. Right, so the eyes of the Lord power upon all of the wickedness that these all the peons underneath them that are doing against the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. The eyes are fixed. The eyes of the good. What the eyes of the Lord power, man? Those are the spiritual bodies, those celestial bodies, those angels. In other words, they're watching everything that's happening, man. Right? Behold, the eyes of the Lord power upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. The Most High is actually going to destroy your society, man. The Most High is going to destroy this place called England and America and all of that, man. He's going to destroy it, and he's going to set up his own thing, man. Right? Because we're indwelling righteousness, man. Right? It says, behold, the eyes of the Lord power upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. Saving utterly, I will not destroy the house of Jacob. So he ain't going to touch the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. More specifically, he ain't going to touch the elect of that. Right? Going back to Zechariah the 13th chapter and the 8th verse, and we're going to see in a minute. Right? But here's the point I wanted to, here's some of the points I wanted to bring up. It says, for lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like you see now, right here now, right? The Most High has sifted us, right? And we coming out here, you pushing this truth. All of us, we thought we was African or Negroes, what do you call it, West Indian, and all of that, man. But the Messiah sifted dudes out, and you come in, you wake up to the fact that you're an Israelite, right? And you come out here and you push the truth. And he says, "For lo, I will command and I'll sift the house of Israel among all nations, like corn is sifted in the sea, right? Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth," right? So not the least grain is going to fall upon the earth, man, amongst the elect. But more so than that, we know all of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans going to make it through, man, right? By way of reincarnation, man. That's how all Israel's going to make it through. That's why it says in Isaiah the 14th chapter, right? But I'll have mercy upon Jacob. He's going to have mercy on all of Jacob, right? It says, and all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. That's talking about you, Nate, IUIC, and your whole crew, of which there going to be some sincere people upon that camp, man. There's going to be some sincere dudes. I ain't going to condemn the whole camp, man. There's going to be some sincere dudes amongst those people that are just, that the Mosai is just left in there for the time being, man. But he's going to, if you're sincere, he's going to pull you out of that madness, man. Right? It says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. Right, but that dude, the Haitian madman, he's definitely gonna die, man. He has no ounce of humility upon him or respect, man. Right, he's a dead man walking, in other words, man. Right, it says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake us, nor prevent us. Right, and that's the spirit of you man's in, man. You think that the evil's not gonna overtake you, man. What's the evil? Right, the nuclear missiles that are coming, man. Right, it says, all the sinners of my people shall die, but souls which say the evil shall not overtake us, not prevent us. You believe that these nuclear missiles actually ain't gonna come, man. They're gonna come, and you ain't gonna be able to stop them, right? It says, right, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I'll raise up the ruins, and I'll build it as it was in the old days. And that's talking about like you see in like Daniel the 2nd chapter on the 44th verse, talks about us getting our own power back. Zechariah I think it's about the 37th chapter or something like that. That talks about us coming out into our own estate, man. Right? And more so than that, when we coming back into our own power, and get into our own power, that land Israel, right, it's gonna be a beautiful land, man. You ain't gonna have to import vegetation and water and all of that, man, because it's gonna be a beautiful land than that, man. Right? It says, oh, this is gonna be a good one, right? And I'll raise up the ruins, right, and I'll build up as it was in that day. And it says, and that they may possess the remnant of Edom, right? So there's gonna be certain ones of the Edomites are actually gonna survive, man, right? But they're gonna survive so that they can be possessed, man, so that they can be a possession unto Israel. Like going back to Isaiah the 14th chapter, where it talks about the children of Israel possessing the remnant of it talks about that they may possess their possessors, man. They may put their captures into captivity, man. Right? Talking about the flipping of the table, in other words. Right? It says, and that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathen. Right? So all of these different heathen, man, whether it be Elam or Moab, Ammon or Ishmael or Japheth, right? And all of that, man, we're gonna possess the remnant of the heathen, right? Right? It says, and all of the heathen which are called by thy name, right? As that saith the Lord that doeth this, right? In fact, I'm gonna read the 13th verse. The 13th verse is good as well. It says, behold, the days come when the Lord saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treaders of the grape him that soweth the seed, right? And the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt, and I shall bring again the captivity of my people Israel. So he's going to release us all out of this captivity, right? And I'll bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the waste cities. And why is the city going to be waste? Right? Because it's going to be destroyed, and the Most High is going to raise us. Going to raise us up and going to rebuild again. Right? It's going to be like a cleansing. It's going to be an ethnic cleansing amongst our people. Like dudes that don't believe in the Most High is going to be destroyed, man. Right? But there's also going to be a cleansing of the land, because does not the scriptures say right? The land is defiled by the inhabitants thereof. Right, so this land is completely defiled by the people that dwell in it, and these Edomites, man. Right, with all their pollution, right, whether it be air or in the physical, and really when it goes back to, we go into the scriptures, all of the stuff they do is pollutes the land, man. And the scripture also said, blood pollutes the land, man, and the only thing to cleanse it, right, is going to be the blood of him that killed the first man, right. Let's get back into the scripture. Right, it says, and I'll bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. And they shall plant the vineyards and drink the wine thereof, and they shall also make gardens and eat the fruit. Right, let's go back to Zechariah the 13th chapter and 8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land thereof 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. Right? It says, and I'll bring the third part through the fire, and that's what we just know. That's why you got certain dudes coming up against the men of the Lord right now, right? Because that's us going through our fire, man. Right? That's us going through our difficulties, man. Right? Which is by way of you fools out here, man. Nate and so on and so forth. And that's part of our fight. That's part of what we have to endure. Right? Dudes coming up and rising up against the truth and disrespecting the name of the Lord and all of that, man. Right? It says, I'll bring the third part through the fire and refine them like silver is refined, and I'll try them like gold is tried. Right? And they shall call upon my name. So we're actually going to call upon the name of the Lord, man. We're gonna have the name. We have the name, right? Which is Yahweh, man. Call upon that name in our time of troubles, man. Like it says in the scriptures, man, the name of the Lord is like a tower unto him that runneth to it, man. Right? It says, and I'll bring the third part through the fire, and I'll refine them as silver is refined, and I'll try them as gold is tried. And they shall call upon my name, and I will hear them, and I'll say to him, right? It is my people, right? And they shall say, the Lord is our power, right? Now let me just wrap it up now. This is going to be Second Ezra, the 7th chapter, and the 50th verse. And I might just go straight to the point on this one. It's going to be Second Ezra 7 and 50. It says, for many great miseries shall be done to them that are in the latter times shall dwell in the earth, because they have walked in great pride, right? So the people, the inhabitants of the earth walk in great pride right now, man. Right? Because the Most High hasn't really flexed his muscles on these people right now, man. Right? So people who are walking around with all kind of pride, right? But understand thou for thyself and seek out glory for such as be like unto thee. So we come out here for glory, right? For the glory of the men, right? They're going to be like unto us, man. Right? They're going to enjoy in this truth, right? And they're going to push this work, man. Right? Really that's saying, cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, like it says in Ezekiel the 9th chapter and the 4th verse, right? It says, but understand thou for thyself and seek out glory for such as be like unto thee, for unto you is paradise open, right? And the tree of life is planted, and the time to come is prepared, right? So the time to come is going to be prepared for the elect of the Most High, right? And I pretty much with that, you know, we're going to sign out and say double honors to the elders of GMS, right? Honest to you brothers that be pushing this truth, and sincerely, and we'll see you on the next one, man. Shalom.